Hello everybody, welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 31 deadline stream in partnership with FPL Team. And I think I'm live, but YouTube is acting absolutely whacked this afternoon and I don't know the reasons why. So, there's actually no one in the chat yet. Here they come. That's good to know. Right, whilst everyone is joining in on the chat, gosh, it's a bit all over the place today. Let me take you through graphics on screen. This thing allowed me no prep whatsoever. It just went, you're live, mate. Great, thanks. I truly appreciated that. Cheers. It's all good in the hood. Right, let's do this. So I'm rolling to free transfers. Team is Kelleher in goal, Chow, Anderson, Virgil van Dijk, James Hill. Harry Wilson captain, I'm going for it. Bruno Fernandes vice, Morgan Rogers, Utara, Thiago and Ekiteke. Nothing in reserve. It's Haaland, Semenyo, Gabriel, Bart for Bruggen if Kelleher decides his missus gives birth to another baby tonight. That would be really, really weird. To the left of me, you'll see my captaincy preferences, top 10 in order. It's Wilson over Fernandes for me. If anybody wants to go Fernandes, that's of course absolutely fine. I'm going to take it on this week. I don't like any other option for captaincy this week. That will rotate with my correct score predictions. Bottom right-hand corner, I'll have my predicted lineups for all 20 teams this game week. Bottom ticker has all the flag players and next 5 game week fixtures. And above that and directly below me is the benching dilemma graphic, where there are 2 players together. The player with the tick is the preferred option to start. They run in order, pages 1 to 4, left to right. That's it. Sorry, I've been thrown completely off track trying to get this fixed and I'm just suddenly live. So I suppose it's better than not being available to do a stream at all. We have 57 minutes to deadline. As per usual, I'll get through as many of your FPL dilemmas as possible between now and the game week 31 deadline. Remember, Arsenal, Manchester City, Crystal Palace and Wolves all blank. Right, that's it. That's the spiel all done. Smash a like, hit the sub button. You're all truly loved. I can see I'm live and it appears to be working. So, Eddie, Joe Robinson's up first. Says, hey James, 2 FTs, 2 million in the bank. I have a full 11 including Rayan and Douglas Luiz, who was benched last week. Also have no bench cover. Would you use a free transfer to move one out or just leave it? 2 million in the bank. I mean, if you can get up to something like Gordon under that sort of circumstance, I'd probably do it from Douglas Luiz. I don't have him predicted to start, in all honesty. Doesn't mean he won't, but I suspect that he may not. Barkley and Onana did okay last week at Old Trafford. That might continue. We also understand Yuri Tielemans might make the bench. Very little chance of him starting, obviously. So yeah, if you can go up from Luiz to something like Anthony Gordon, or obviously Harry Wilson if you don't own, and yeah, I'd probably do that. Luiz is going to be of very little use to you, I think, once you've left game week 31, whereas Rayan may still be useful to you, subject to your strategy. D-Dot says, evening, big boy. Oh, no one said that to me for at least 24 hours. This week, I have 10 players, including Tarkowski. I have 3 frees, no wildcard, free hit 33 likely. Would use 2 free transfers to also remove Tarkowski, or just 1 free transfer, swap Rice and risk it. Moyes' update was ambiguous. Yeah, but El Bubbles was a bit better, saying that he's in full training. So I would suggest that I would be surprised if James Tarkowski didn't start. I would say Jared Branthwaite less clear, because we was aware of speculation going into the game week that there may well be an issue. But James Tarkowski, truthfully, I would expect to play. Probably Jake O'Brien going back to right back, with James Garner going back into midfield. That's how I'd imagine it to be. Sorry, I've just received a message that I need to check. Okay, thanks for that, Lee. Yeah, right, really don't care at the moment. Right, next up is Dragon Josiowski. Got 9 players and Tarkowski in 2 frees. To Chalobah, to Chow, Goo, to Bowen/Richie, or both. Wildcard bench was free. Yeah, I mean, Chalobah and Goo both useless to you. So if you can do both, then I see no reason why not. Jody Pegler says, hi, James, would you do Tarkowski to Anderson? I have 1 free transfer with 11 players and no bench. Wildcard 32. Thanks and good luck for this game with you two. Nah, probably leave it be. As said, look, I'm not a doctor. I don't have ITK on Everton, but I do know that El Bobble, who does have good connections, said, look, he's in full training. And he's only missed one game, so it's not like you really need to build up the fitness or anything like that. So, truthfully, I would expect him to play. Next up is Juki says, enjoyed the content this week, needs Semenyo replacement. Would you go Dango or Gordon for 2 game weeks playing on Wildcard 33? I would go Gordon, given the choice between the two, mate. Johnny 5X. Yeah, I don't know if it's come up with like a game week 38 deadline. I really don't know what's gone. Something's weird with YouTube today. I don't know what's happening. It says 31 deadline. Did I say game week 30? I might have said game week 38 deadline. Mike FPL says, hi James, of 10 starters and 3 frees, would you do Chalobah to Hall or Semenyo to Wilson, or do both and bench Alderete? Likely wildcard 32. Semenyo would cost me 0.3 to buy back. I don't think you'll... I say you won't want to go back. You won't go back in 32, I don't think. You may obviously want to go back in 33, but you're saying wildcard likely anyway, so it's easy enough to put in. Chalobah's useless to you, but then again, you're probably going to wildcard after this, aren't you? Alderete's 32 is okay if you don't end up wildcarding. I'd make the Wilson move, mate. David Peeling says 3 frees, 10 starters, wildcard bench with 3 hit to play. Would you do Haaland to João Pedro or Timber to Anderson to get 11? Yes, I would. If I was under a situation where I had 10, I'd do it. It's easy to sell Haaland now, as I said on the weekender. That feels clearer now that we know, obviously, that they can't play in 31 or 32. That's obviously helpful. Sorry, I'm so confused by what YouTube's doing here. It's all over the place with how it's acting. It does say game week 31 deadline. Sorry, it's all over the place. I'll do my best. Daniel Grelski says, I'm selling Timber and Krupi. So I'll have 10.8 million in the bank. Can you recommend 2 1-week punts for 2 free transfers? Cheers, good luck. People smash the like button. Well, it's captaincy, preferency picks, isn't it? Wilson, Fernandez, Pedro, Ekiteke, Palmer, Gordon, Thiago, Bumo, Cunha, Jimenez. There you go. There's the top 10. Bruno Fernandefcon says, best defender to buy for 31, 32, and 34. What happens if I say a Tottenham player? 31, 32 and 34. To be honest, Tottenham players under that are a candidate. I'd say Sunderland as well. He's a candidate. Manchester United, that's not bad. Harry Maguire, that's my answer. Andreas Brager says, hi James, don't want to sell Rice and Semenyo for value. Sell Haaland for who? Or sell Semenyo for Gordon? Thanks. If you don't know who you want to buy in terms of forward, just leave him be, right? Semenyo to Gordon, there you go. Swiss Webby, you're more live than you were before. That's good news to know. Harry B says, yes, James, am I crazy for thinking Timber and Haaland to Romero and Richarlison for 2 frees, a 1-week punt only? Wildcard in 32, with only 10 players, including Esteve, before these moves. Cheers. I don't hate it. Look, Forest have scored in their last 6 away games, and there's a lot of speculation. Well, I say speculation, chat about them struggling in front of goal. Scored in the last 6 away. They've won the last 2 European away games as well. Seems better suited for them away from home than at home. By all means, buy Romero. You cannot be expecting anything from that. That's the truth. It is for free, though. I would prefer Chow, Hall, Van Dijk, Joachim Anderson, any of them. CMP says, hi James, with Chelsea's recent defensive performances and injuries, does that make you rethink the risk to selling Haaland this week? You could have real joy in 32. What do you think? Not massively, but yeah, I think it's fair to look at the fixture as better than just, Chelsea away on. But Chelsea, I think, are about 12th or 13th in terms of home league table anyway, so it was never a terrible fixture. But yeah, Chalobah being unavailable won't make it worse, will it? That's clear. Eddie Joe Robinson says, hey James, 2 frees, 2 million in the bank, wildcard 32, over full 11, including Rayan and Douglas Luiz, who was better. I've already done this one, haven't I? Yeah, USF says, afternoon lads and girls, hope you're all well. Smash a like if you're watching along live, guys. King of Mandalore says, was set up well for this game week with full 11, Salah captain Sade on the bench. Really wanted to roll to 3 frees and wildcard 32 if FA Cup goes as planned. Would you sell Salah to Gordon or just play Sade? There has to be a genuine concern that Mo Salah won't play game week 32, even if fit, because of the PSG games being a Wednesday and a Tuesday before. So, truthfully, I'd bin him. I'd bin him. It'd also make your route back. Oh, shit, I do want to go back to Haaland. Right, it's going to make your life easier, isn't it? So, yeah, truthfully, I would make that move. Just a reminder, as I've repeated on the Weekender and other little bits that I've done recently, if you are intending to wildcard for game week 32, I wish you the very best of luck. My serious advice is please wait until the FA Cup quarterfinals are finished rather than chase value. There is circumstances that may change your mind on it. If your team looks like an absolute bin fire for game week 32, be my guest. But if you're looking at your team going, right, well, it does look okay, don't wildcard. Please wait until the FA Cup quarterfinals are gone in 2 weekends' time and just forget about FPL. Quinna says, start Ghana over one of Bumo, Ekiteke or Rogers. No from me. MG Bakit says, hi James, have 3 frees, full 11, playing Alderete at the moment. Is it worth a transfer? Sell Rice for Gordon and bench Alderete, or just roll to 4 frees, play Alderete? Probably wildcard in 32, by the way. Yeah, understand. So essentially we're saying, is it worth a transfer to bring Gordon in for Alderete? Look, you're rolling to 4. That's a strong position. It's probably borderline. If you just said to me you got 2, I'd have said, nah, bollocks, leave it. Might be more useful to you to have the transfers in the bank to just maneuver through things. With 4 frays, yeah, I'll probably do it, I think. That's probably the tipping point to make me say, yeah, go for it. Mike FPL says, thoughts on Chalobah to Frimpong as a 1-week pump with Salah out? Wouldn't be my choice, but I don't hate it. Can't be viewed as a certain starter, but he's a right winger in my predicted lineup. So, yeah, I think you'll know the risk attached. Nintendo says, hi James, got my wildcard free at bench boost left, considering selling Haaland to Ekiteke this week. Don't care about value. What are the major downsides apart from him hauling at Chelsea away? Yeah, that's the biggest one, mate. That's the biggest one. And, yeah, what if it changes up for City? I don't know. It changes your strategy. It's like predicting the unpredictable a little bit, isn't it? But yeah, if you want to make that move, it's fine. It's clear now that Palace won last night. If you want to bin him. If I was sitting here now with 9 free transfers, I'd sell Haaland. Sorry, nine available players for the game week, I'd sell him. If I had 9 free transfers, this is a lot I'd do. If I had 9 players available and needed players for this week, I'd sell him. Bobby says, hi mate, would you do Gordon, Gibbs White for Semenyo and Pedro Abone for Krupi for a hit? Context here, like Krupi, I think there's every chance he doesn't start. You almost hoping for a leak. Maybe probably won't get anything on Bournemouth ahead of the deadline. Shout out to our patrons, by the way. Tag me on Slack if we've got anything in terms of team news. On the face of it, it's probably a yes. Preference would be Gordon. And I don't know your strategy. If you think you're heading towards a free hit 33, I'd go Bowen. If it's the other way, I'd probably go João Pedro. Robbie Granger says, hi James, should I get Richarlison for Haaland? As discussed on the Weekender, it sounds mental when you say it out loud like that, doesn't it? Look, if this is an intended 1-week transfer and you don't have huge value in Haaland, I don't mind. Daniel's car says, should I do Haaland to Ekiteke or Rice to Gordon? Wildcard 32. I prefer the Gordon move, I think. Chanel says, hi James, 3 frees to make it to 11. Does buying Chow, Palmer and Richarlison leave me flexible enough regarding chip strategy? 3 frees to make it buying Chow, Palmer, Richarlison. Does it leave you flexible enough to regarding chip strategy? I would rather... on that basis that you went João Pedro if that's affordable instead of Richarlison. Just because on the current projections you'd then be buying 3 players with double 33 and you kind of sound like maybe you need flexibility. Richarlison obviously confirmed fixture in game week 34, but that's over a month away. God knows if he'll still be fit. That's where I'd sell it. Otherwise it's okay. Sandeep says, thoughts on Xavi Simons 1-week punt isn't in my predicted Tottenham team. Doesn't mean he won't start, but he isn't in my predicted Tottenham team. So I think that I don't even need to answer, do I? Statis says 4 frees, need to get to 2 players for 11. Haaland and Barnes, a forward one. Oh, I see, Ashley Barnes. We'll have to go, I think, for Thiago and whoever is the best pick punt, or I can leave transfer out Rice alongside with Haaland. Christ almighty. 4 frees, you need 2 players. You want to sell Haaland and Barnes. Okay, so it's a long way of saying you think Thiago's one. Forwards, they're in order, captaincy picks. By the way, in terms of benching dilemma, guys, obviously I realise not many people have got benching dilemmas this week. Feel free to use the graphic there as a placement order in terms of like players to buy for 1 week only. Ronnie Kuma says, got 1 free, wants a wildcard 32. Should I do Boomo to Gordon? Not for me, unless there was confirmation that Boomo doesn't start. A little bit of a rumour going around that he might not, just a rumour. I think he'll start personally. So, no, I wouldn't bother. Harvey Marshall says, hi, James, 2 frees. Josh King is my 11th man. Would you do Haaland to a playing striker to bench him? Josh King, would you do Haaland to play? Yes, probably. Will Mercer says, hi, James. How are you, mate? I'm not too bad, thank you. Big Q, is Bruno captain or Wilson? Is this different depending on if you're chasing or not? No, I think, like I said, for me, they're probably the only 2 real contenders that I'd be comfortable with for captaincy this week. I've got Ekateke 4th, and someone's just asked me about him, and I'm like, don't know. I don't really fancy Liverpool tomorrow. I don't massively fancy Chelsea this weekend either. As I've said, I think Newcastle Sunderland might be low scoring. I think it might be a shit game week. So Wilson Fernandes ultimately comes down to, right, who's going to score more points? So I'm backing Wilson on that. That's the way I'm doing. If people are unsure, my advice would be captain Bruno Fernandes. It's very straightforward, right? Bruno is a loser in your book if you go Wilson. His EO is going to be absolutely massive, Bruno Fernandes. So if you've got any doubt, you go Bruno Fernandes. If you have confidence in it, like I'm prepared to have the confidence to take it on, by all means, my recommendation is to go Harry Wilson. Whether you're chasing or not is irrelevant. Because you might be shielding, but you might have a big jump. Yes, there's more risk involved. Truthfully, if you're just shielding, you're like, oh, I'm worried about the guy behind me, then the advice is to captain Bruno Fernandes. I think Wilson outscores him. That's what I'm going for. Next up is Alex MJ says, would you sell Muk for -4 or just play? If sell him for a defender or Haaland to Richie. Cheers, James. Well, there's a chance he plays, in which case the -4 is very unlikely to be worth it if it's for a 1 week. So no. Adam Cooper, hi James, play Welbeck this week or sell Salah to Gordon. I'd be very surprised if Danny Welbeck didn't start for Brighton, so I'd probably run with that. But, like I said, when you factor in the potential risk of Salah to 32, again, I don't know what your strategy is afterwards. It's probably in a sell bracket, but Welbeck should be fine for this week, mate. Billy Taylor says, yes, Jimbo, I need a spicy 1 week defender punt. Chow seems the obvious one, but can you give me a name that's more outlandish? More outlandish. Jan Paul Van Heck is a more outlandish name, but I'd go Malik Chow, mate. Reese Marlowe says, hi, James. Would you do Timber to Joachim Anderson? No wild card, but think I'm on free hit 33. I have 10 plus Mukele. And would you start Pope over Dubravka on the off chance he starts? Pope won't start. I understand what you're saying. But Pope could come on if Ramsdale gets an injury with 5 minutes to go, right? Unlikely. But about as unlikely as Pope starting, I would suggest Aaron Ramsdale will be in goal for Newcastle. Nearly certain of that. Free hit 33. So we're assuming Arsenal will double 33 at this stage. Yeah. Fine. Anderson doesn't have a good 32 though. 34 is okay. 35 is terrible. Like, what's the play here? Is it just 1 week? Because if it's more, then I'd possibly be thinking about other players I'd mentioned towards the start of the stream, mate. Shivantra says, thoughts on Haaland to Bowen if wildcard 35? No. Are you totally... there's just... Again, I don't know what you're doing with free hit, right? I might have to read that as you haven't got it, right? So if Haaland doubles in 33 and Bowen doesn't, what are you going to want to do with that? For me personally, that's another one as well. Could that wait? Like Bowen, I think West Ham win this weekend. I said that this morning. But could that wait? If you think, I still want to do it in 32, now I know the layout, just information might be more important. So if you've got a team, no. If you haven't got a team, yes. By team, I mean 11. Another Hoop says, hi mate, how likely is City to double in 32 as well as 33? Won't happen, impossible. I'm thinking of selling Haaland to Bowen and free hit Haaland back in, or do you think I should save the transfer? Thanks, smash a like, people. Won't happen. City will not double in Gameweek 32 now. There's your answer. Blue Knot says, thoughts on Cunha, free hit 33, wildcard 35. Marginal preference to that, maybe over Bumo now at this particular stage. I don't mind. He's capable, isn't he? Jerry W. Hello, Jimbo. Thoughts on the England lineup? I won 3, plenty in the bank. Would you do Alderete to Anderson or Munoz to Anderson? Did that just say Anderson twice? I did. Plan is free hitting 33 and bench boost 30. We could have said Alderete or Munoz to Anderson. Well, Munoz is useless to you this week, and it has to be off a chance he doesn't play in 32 now as well. So I'd bin Munoz. Thoughts on the England lineup? Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, cool. Taylor says, predicting the Spurs win. That's a first. Yeah, it's the first time in a long time. I'd be bottling it if I didn't I? So let's go and believe this weekend. Petro Shea. Sorry, that's terrible, isn't it? Peter O'Shea, obviously. Sorry, Peter. Sell Keen to Chow/VVD. Yeah, I'd be tempted. I've got him in my predicted lineup because I'm not convinced about the Jared Branthwaite information along with Michael Keane. And obviously he's had issues. And Keane did all right last weekend. But yeah, I probably would. Yeah. Daniel McAdams says, is 3 blankers fine? Should I use an extra transfer for a playing bench spot? No yellow flags. No, don't make a transfer just to cover up the bench when that bench might be more useful for you afterwards. Again, I don't know what you've got, but you can use mine as a bit of a reference if you like. Sean G says, hi James, hope you're well. I'm planning bench boost 33, free hit 34, most probably wildcard 35. I have 2 frees and need to sell Salah. Do I go Wilson, Gordon or Palmer? Worth going Sade to one of the other 2. So you bench boost 33, free hit 34, most probably wildcard 35. See, what I don't know is what the problem is for you having Wilson away to Liverpool in 32, whether you want to look at that or not. If you don't, I'd go Gordon. If you're okay with it, I'd go Wilson. Rhino says, no wildcard left, still have triple captain and free hit. 4 players not playing this game with Haaland, Gabriel, Munoz, Reynildo. Reynildo might be available, mate. Yeah, that seems to be the word. We think he's probably going to be available. 1.1 in the bank and who to sell. Currently thinking between Reynaldo for Van Heck or Munoz for Chow. Munoz to Chow, mate. FPL Red, will Leeds or West Ham get a double game week? Cheers, looking Kian sub. I love that. They could do. Yeah, I was asked on the team news stream, what would help Leeds getting a double in 33? I said Chelsea losing to Port Vale. Oh. Yeah. West Ham, slightly smaller chance again with Palace winning last night. Because no chance of that fixture with between Palace West Ham moving back to the Saturday now. Could only be the Sunday. So he leaves the Wednesday open. And there's going to be other games on the Wednesday. Beginning to look like West Ham Everton would probably be a no to be brought forward. But your question is, will they? Well, the answer I can only give you is they might do. Truthfully, it might depend on what other teams win in other games. It's a genuine possibility that could have a potential influence on this. So the most likely thing to say to you is, I don't think West Ham will double in 33. I don't think Leeds will either. But if Leeds won and Port Vale won, I would think that Leeds will. That's to do with television screening. Prino says, with 3 frees, going Rice to Gordon for playing 11, would you use second to upgrade Krupi to João Pedro or roll and save? What use is Krupi to you, mate? That would be the question. Does his fixtures look good? No. Right, move it. Simon B, hi mate. Bring in 2 of Gordon, Chow, Anderson. Certainly an attacker. Gordon, Chow be my preference because I don't know what you're doing afterwards, mate. Neil Kager says, thanks, James. Hit the like, people. Thank you, Neil. I will see you. It's appreciated, mate. Next up, Manish Goa. Hello, James. Should I buy Rice to... It's not buy Rice. Should you sell Rice to Szoboszlai or Haaland to Bowen if planning to free hit 33 and wildcard 35? Are you going to feel City lose and then they play in 34? Again, it's something to think about. Is it unthinkable that Man City lose to Liverpool and play in 34? No, it's not. What would you do under that circumstance with Haaland having a free midweek before and potentially afterwards with Burnley away? Rice to Szoboszlai and see where you stand after, mate. Maddie and Peacock, best defender for a 1 week punt only. Can't risk Mukeli is down to 11 already. Thanks, buddy. Truthfully, Malik Chow. Newcastle, the only team I predicted for a clean sheet. So Newcastle. Andrew Clark says, if you want to punt it and you want to upside maybe of attacking play, Lewis Hall if you prefer. Andrew Clark says, hi James, similar to you, I've used bench boost. What's the best outcome for us in terms of FA Cup? Wildcard free hit available. It doesn't matter, mate. We can't control it. So don't worry about it. Don't be watching go, I want this, that, the other. And it's also going to be team dependent. Your team might look slightly different to me. So I could tell you that it would probably be better for me, for example, with my team, if Chelsea lost, right? And Chelsea got no double. That might look good, right? It's very unlikely, isn't it? Right? I'm not hoping for that sort of eventuality. I ain't got time, mate. G Tasker says 4-3, 6 players this week. Use all for field 10 and top players to bring in 6 players. Top players in terms of captaincy picks: defenders, Newcastle, Fulham, Liverpool. It's the same answers for a lot here, isn't it? D Boss Man, no, I've missed one out. I'll come to you in a sec. Gavin Richardson, my friend, says, what will be the higher number, the percentage of likes on this stream or the number of points needed to stay up? Well, I think it'll probably be points needed to stay up because it's only about 20% of you have smashed a like. It doesn't cost anything, guys. Let's go, go, go. The Boss Man says, hi, James. I have Esteve and 1.6 million in the bank. Would you sell for Anderson or take a punt on Porro Romero? Already own Chow. Cheers. Love the content. I'd consider the afterwards. If it's just 1 week, wouldn't bother. Esteve will play. Nearly certain of that. FC Ales FC. Hi James, hope all is good. I have 3 threes playing a full 11. Still considering Dubravka Taleno as it gives me a better goalkeeper this week and in 34. If I decide to free hit 33. Also have no Fulham defender worth it. The goalkeeper transfer is probably not worth it, mate. Just reality. He's really probably not worth it. So no, I wouldn't be doing that, mate. Daz J. Pedro is a gamble captaincy choice. Everton bad at home. Chelsea actually decent away. You fancy it. You're like, I think João Pedro's best choice this week. Crack on. I don't have confidence in it. LP says, hi James. Option to do Timber to Jockey Manderson or Rice to Gordon. Which Arsenal asset would you prefer to keep if running through to 33 wild card? Cheers. Rice, but I'd also prefer that you bought Gordon. So it's a kind of double-sided question, isn't it? Gordon is also better for you in 32 than Joachim Anderson. If you buy Joachim Anderson for Jurriën Timber, you've made your team weaker for 32. You make the case Gordon for Rice, you haven't. So I'd rather keep Rice, but I'd make the Gordon transfer. Sidan Torj says, have 1 free, Salah will be out. Who would it be? Gordon, Wilson, Palmer. And would you go early into João Pedro for -4? No to the -4. Unless if you're short a player, then yes, sure. But if you've got an 11, no. Again, for me, like Wilson this week, but truthfully, if you want for 32 as well, I'm going to say to you, Gordon. Unless you truly think, like me, Wilson is the best captaincy this week and like deal with 32 afterwards, in which case still Wilson. Dave M says, evening James, 4 threes worth doing. You Kelly out for Chow or just roll with my current full starting 11. Cheers, bud. Good luck to Spurs this week. Thank you. That's close. It's closer than the Gordon one because it's only buying a defender, like what you truly expect him. There's nothing wrong with Kelly's fixture in 32. Chow will obviously look more useful for you in 33. Again, what are we doing here from a strategy perspective? Doesn't say. I suppose with 4 threes, yeah, I'd probably be tempted to do it. Alex Baitup says, hi James, is it worth taking a risk sticking with Tarkowski this week? Yeah, I think he'll play, mate. BT says 2 threes, all chips except triple captain. Need 2 players. Excuse me. Munoz to Chow Anderson. Rice to Gordon. Haaland to João Pedro. It's all really familiar, this, isn't it? Munoz will be first on the chopping block there because, again, what's that to be for 32 for you? And in which case, Chow would be the preference over Joachim Anderson. The other 2 moves I'm absolutely fine with. All I'd say is if you go Haaland to João Pedro blanks tomorrow, you might regret that. Rice to Gordon, I don't think you will as much. But again, strategy is relevant here. Arsenal almost certain to double in 33. If you've used your wild card. Jerry W says, should Maguire start alongside Gay or Stones? Who should be full centre-back in the England squad? B, is it Conser or Burn? Conser would be above Maguire, mate. Genuinely. Let Maguire and Burn fight it out. Delicious lemon sauce, best Salah replacement, own Dango, Bruno, Wilson. I'll say Gordon then. Gavin Richardson, how you feeling about the weekend? He's got 3 popcorn emojis. I think the last 2 games must give you some hope, but it's the hope that, kills us, and that team does quite regularly, So I'm looking forward to it, but nervous, obviously. I don't think it'll be definitive, whatever the result is, either way. Frank Smitter says, evening, James. Why is Gordon so low on captaincy when he should have good minutes and pens? Because I think it'll be a low-scoring football match. And how many times does he actually score at St James's Park? Stopped, isn't it? Go on. Go and have a trace back of his goal scoring. Again, you fancy him, you're like, I think Gordon's the best captaincy. Crack on. That's all good. If you want to go that way, mate, absolutely fine. Someone's putting in no audio, but I'm guessing that someone is alone with that. It's possible that the stream hadn't started, maybe. Where's that comment gone? Let's find out who's next. Done that. YouTube is right acting up today, guys. I'm really sorry. Jimmy Stewart, hey, James, I have to drop 2 of Salah, Munoz, Timber to fill the starting 11. Chow, Anderson, Gordon, my 3 targets. Which moves would you make? Chow, Gordon for the Palace players. Yahia says, hi, James, 3-3, 6 blankers. Was pretty straightforward until Michele and Salah got injured and Goodmanson got sent off. Christ. Now I feel just 6. Do I just free hit and save the frees for 33 and 34? Wildcard 24. You've used the wildcard as well. Shit. But that almost makes your requirement for the free hit even bigger for 33 or 34. Shit. I would be very tempted on that to take a -4 and buy specifically, subject to the rest of your team, Newcastle and Chelsea players, and head towards 33. That's probably what I'd be thinking. And for you, then it's an Arsenal Chelsea obviously likely to win in the cup. That's the best probability course for you, I think. I would take a -4 generally to get you to 10 on that circumstance, particularly if it's for attackers. Leave Michele. He may well be about, mate. Shifo says, hi, James. I have 12 players this game week. Wildcard already played and 2 frees in the bank. I really want to do Ekateke to Richarlison. Also, I don't think Hugo starts for Fulham. Should I do it or roll? Roll, mate. White City Roller. Hello from Thailand. 2 questions. Start Hill or Cash? I'm drawn to Hill, but I have 2 United attackers, and that spoils the fun. Also, Verbruggen or Dubravka in goal. Verbruggen or Dubravka on goal. I'm not really prepared for benching dilemma questions this week. Verbruggen for me, but again, that might be conflicting in terms of Liverpool attackers. Mind you, might also have Wilson, right? I don't know. The thing with Hill is, it's conflicting going against United attacking players, but actually, he's in there for DEFCONs. So he can still hit you a 3 or 4 pointer, and United players could still do well for you, and you take it. I truthfully, though, would say if you had Matty Cash in your squad, you were doing it with the intention to play him in game week 31. I think he'll start. James Hill definitely starts. It's dodgy, isn't it? Yeah, like I say, you had that intention, but you weren't expecting Cash to pick up an injury. I'd be surprised if he didn't play. I'd chance Matty Cash, personally, under your circumstance, and I apologise if that goes wrong. Play it your way and all that shit. White City roll I've done. Stat is, what do you think about free hit 33, wildcard 34, bench boost 35? As I don't think bench boost 33 is great. And another strategy of bench boost 33 with little free transfer free fit. Oh my God. I love you, Statis, but you're on one today, my friend. Okay, doesn't look great. What if Leeds double? What if you threw Leeds and Bournemouth into game week 33 suddenly? Oh, look better. Yes, exactly. Right. Let's wait and see. I don't know. I've got free hit, right? I don't know when I'm using it. I'm telling you. I don't know when I'm using it. I will do after these FA Cup games, but I don't know at the moment. Andy Rusev says, yes, James, quick question. Out of Salah, Chalobah, Mane and Strand Larson, who would you swap out for free alternative? And who would you recommend besides Fernandes or Gordon? Definitely put Fernandes in fairness. But if you put him in, you're kind of obliged to captain him. Otherwise, you might as well just completely take him on, probably. that Salah's going to open the door for you to massively upgrade Mane to something else, right? Gavin says, I'll be logging out of FPL for a while, but when will that run-in chip strategy pod be out? I'm quite well set for Game Week 32 also, April the 7th, mate. I'll cover off a bit of content once the deadline has gone. Jigsaw Kid, Timber and Mukeli out for Anderson and Chow to field 11 from -4. Happy for you to move Timber. The Mukeli from -4 just doesn't sit right for me, I'm afraid to say. Ishan Yusuf says, Hill, James, thoughts on Dango to Gordon? Nah, I could do that. I wouldn't bother personally, mate. Again, shout out to our patrons. Drop me a tag on Slack, please, if we do have anything in terms of team news for Manchester United this evening. They're the 8 o'clock at Bournemouth. Remember, deadline is 6:30 p.m. UK time. As far as I'm aware, there's nothing on leaks at the moment. Now Slack's not working for me as well, so maybe people are messaging me. What is going on today? You know what it is? It's Tottenham. It's Tottenham causing issues in the system. Jigsaw I've done. Annie Russell I've done. Marsh FPL joining you with the Wilson captaincy. Fingers crossed for a stinking game tonight. Would you go Szoboszlai or Gordon for 1 week punt? Gordon. D. Dot says, thoughts on Szoboszlai now that Salah's confirmed out, possibly on pens, plenty of routes to points with set pieces, defcons, etc. Any other better replacements for Rice? Yeah, I've just given one for my opinion is Gordon. But yeah, what you say about Szoboszlai is all logical and absolutely fine. If you like him, you crack on, mate. False Paradox, I've locked in Richarlison James. Wish me luck. I wish you a lot of luck, mate. I am Rani Yusuf. How many times is that question going to appear, mate? Do yourself a favour. Delete them, mate, or, kindly. Yeah, Gareth says, hi, James. I need a 4.5 defender for this week. Was going Tete, but doubtful, so thinking Bassi or Hill. Bassi. Be a surprise if he didn't play. King Plim says, best content out there all week, not just deadline stream. Thanks, James. Smash a like, people. Thank you. Smash a like, everyone. Pescazi, hi, James. Good luck for this week. You too. Blue Knot says, thoughts on Keane to Maguire / Diouf. 11 to play inclusive of Keane. Don't mind the Maguire moves. Good fixture 32 there as well. Particularly if you were committing towards free hit 33. Which defender 1 game week punter? Anderson Chow or Porro Chow? Jerry W. Bench one of Rodgers or Szoboszlai or Bumo? I don't believe you. Truthfully, the answer to that might actually have to be Morgan Rodgers. But I don't believe you. Ice Channel says, Verbruggen or Dubravka to start. Just answered that for someone else. Matthew, and it's on the bench in dilemmas. Matthew Broad, hi James. Who do you think is least likely to get DEFCON between Elliot Anderson, Garner, and Tarkowski? It depends how often Chelsea end up going direct, maybe. And the game state of that game, possibly. If Everton are losing, it might not work out in this one. And there's obviously a chance at Hams. Elliot Anderson's DEFCONs are nowhere near as reliable at the moment. He's obviously playing a more advanced role. I mean, ultimately this week, would I play Elliot Anderson over James Tarkowski? Yes. I'd actually play him over Garner as well because I'd look at the upside of attacking against Tottenham. So I'd probably play the 2 midfielders. J23 says, I'm on free hit and want to go with Romero. Do you think that's a horrible idea? Yeah. No, I don't, because you've told me that you want to go for him. So if you want to go for him, you go for him, mate. FBL Tank says, hi, James. Do I start Krupi or take a hit to bring in someone else? Already have Ekiteke. Thank you. Kind of feels a bit late to be chasing Thiago at this point. Krupi to João Pedro again. I don't know what your path is afterwards. If it's just for the 1 week, I don't think I'd bother. Lawrence says, hi James, bringing in Gordon. Would you pick a Jockey Anderson or Chow for Richards? Chow. Martinelli Furtado says, evening James, 2 questions. 1, start Rayan or Krupi? Rayan. 2, do you think it's weird Wales have released a World Cup kit before they've been qualified? They're not the only ones to do it. I've seen Sweden have done that as well. So fair enough on it. Manish Garwell says, would you start Mukeli and pray use a transfer elsewhere to field 11? I'd probably pray. Samuel Sports says, hi James, use wildcard currently on free hit 33 plan. Would you sell either Haaland or O'Reilly to bench Krupi this week, or roll him out with no bench cover, get to 4 frees going into 32? Have a good weekend, mate. Yeah, the information of where you want to go with your plan is probably more important, mate. I'm sorry to say that I would leave it. Mirajanwa says, hi James, I have to bench one from Vert, Sade, Rogers, Dewsbury Hall. Who do I bench? I didn't bother putting Morgan Rogers on the bench in dilemma even this week. I would bench Dewsbury Hall out of that, mate. FPL Copium says, Munoz and Mane to Diouf, João Pedro, 3 frees, 10 players this game week, and wildcard used. Is there a question in there, or were you looking for me to say, yes, that's okay? Yes, that's okay. C. Fusa says, hi James, 1 free left. Already brought in Wilson for Rice. Strand Larson to Bowen, João Pedro or Thiago. Other strikers, Ekateke, we have 11 starters if Michele makes it. Take a hit for backup. Thank you. No hit. Again, what's the play here? Because if you're saying to me 31 and 32, then that makes Bowen and Thiago more appealing than João Pedro. If it's just 31, my preference is João Pedro. So what's your strategy? Tiram Jamez says, hi James, need 2 differential defenders this game week, plus what's your take on Watkins or Rogers captain? Wow. Chasing many points. I think there's every chance Villa get beat personally. Watkins did look lively when he came on last night. I wouldn't be doing that. I mean, if you'd have said to me this is how it would land and Villa would have West Ham at home in game week 31, I would have those 2 nowhere near the top 10 for captaincy in a week where we've got no City, no Arsenal. Blimey, I wouldn't have believed you. So, no, wouldn't be keen on that. Differential defenders, realities, mate, unless his name is Virgil van Dijk, nearly everything is a differential this week. Anderson and Chow are going to get some attention, mate. You want to go differential instead? Fine, look at Bassi and Hall. Next up, Sheriff Gabba, where is the correct score prediction? Is it not rotating? Might not be. If it's not, it is now. Can it get worse? It can. Yeah. Sorry, and Rani Yusuf. There's the questions in there so many times that if you put a different one in, sorry, mate. My DMs are open if you want to talk about it. I just can't bother seeing that over and over again, mate. 89 says, bench one of Enzo, Hill, Tavernier, Stack, Hall. Hill. I assume you've got Bruno Fernandes. Onion Heart says, evening James, Bowen or Richarlison for the next couple of game weeks. Villa and Wolves or Forest and Sunderland feels like a close call. Bowen. The Reaper says, hi James, love your pod. Just a small question. Is it worth doing Goodmanson to Rodon to have a full 11? Probably free hit 33, wildcard 35. Is there an alternative you can go there? Like Hill, mind you, it's shit for 32 as well. I think Leeds win tomorrow night, so I'm kind of obliged to say it's okay. It feels like such a waste of a transfer, though, really. David James Whiteway says, thanks for these streams, mate. Really helpful psychologically to be able to blame you if a pension decision goes wrong. I can take it, yeah. It's fine. Imagine you have to think about this. How many questions will I answer? 100, 150? I don't know, right? Ain't all going to be right, are they? There's going to be a lot of wrong answers in there. Psycho Gold says, hi James, what would you say is the best free hit team? I'd say go and watch the end of the weekender because I did it on there, mate. Daniel Lund says, thank you, mate. Sam says, hi James, with Salah out, I have Krupi coming in. I want to keep Salah for the next few game weeks so I can either roll or transfer Krupi for DCL. With Salah out, I have Krupi coming in. I want to keep Salah for sell Salah. Honestly, it's my advice, mate. Josh Robb says, worth taking a hit to get Krupi out. Likely wildcard 32, but not set on it yet. If no João Pedro, yes. Otherwise, no. Thomas Davidson, Holla James, plan to wildcard 35-ish, have 3 hit left, played both triple captain and bench boost. 1 player short this week with 4 frees. Haaland to Bowen, but then I won't have Haaland for possible 33 double. Goodmanson, Diouf, safe bet. Yeah, but you sound like you need to run through 33 and Diouf probably won't double. So that's the only thing it's just a little bit conflicting with the first point. That's all. But Goodmanson to Diouf is okay. I suppose for the person who asked earlier about Goodmanson to Rodon, I prefer you went to Diouf. particularly if you needed 32, because Diouf's 32 fixture is great. So, yeah, maybe there's a solution for the previous questioner. Prashanjani says, hi, James. Have to take a -4 to get 11 out. The hit would either be for Semenyo to Gordon or Szoboszlai or Goodmanson to Hall. Any suggestions? Yeah, Semenyo to Gordon, go for it. Unatish Singh says, hi, James. 3 frees, only 9 players playing. Should I do Richards and Lewis Miley to Gordon and Rodon, or should I go for Chow and stack Anderson? I have Wilson. Seems like a lot more upside in that Gordon chase. But again, Diouf over Rodon for me, personally. Ben Eddington, hi James. Only chip left is free hit. Plan to use game week 34. Based on that, is 10 players this week all right? Should I go Nico O'Reilly to Chow for free? There is definitely no obligation to feel like you have to have 11 this week. Me personally be thinking, I want it. Particularly for a defensive transfer, I wouldn't stress it too much. I don't think it's going to be a great game week for many people. Probably defined by captaincy. So I'm probably an idiot taking a risk, but it is what it is. Wesley says, hey, James, appreciate all the great content. I got 3 frees and a full starting 11 with wildcard and free still to go. Would you do Boomer to Gordon, Haaland to Pedro? Roll. Jay Mullet, hi James, best 1 week defender punt. I feel like we must have covered this by now. Eddie S got carried away by last 2 games and brought in Richie Cutie and Xavi, captain Richie. Come you Spurs. Fuck a duck, Eddie. 89 Tebow says, hi James, bench 1 of Enzo Hill, Tavernier Hall. I've definitely already done that, haven't I? Almost Secco says, selling Rice and Haaland, buying 1 of Gordon, João Pedro, but not both to keep free hit 33, wildcard 35 path open. Best combo of 1 of those as the other part. Have Wilson, Thiago, Ekateke. Cheers. Good luck. Preference, João Pedro. Andrew Clark. Hi, James. Captaincy picks and scores aren't rotating. Apologies if already sorted. That's all right, mate. I think it's sorted. Yeah, I just checked it. He's definitely rotating now. Shivancha, I meant free hit for... Yeah, I ain't going to remember now, mate. Real Villa, how dare you? I used to think you were nice. Who's ever suggested that I'm a nice person? My wife hates me, mate. She hates me. Ross Mitchell says, evening, James. Need to take a -4 to get 11. As long as Tarkowski plays. Plan is wildcard 33 as bench boost used. So wanting someone for 2 weeks. Thinking Gordon for Rice, but like Rice for 32. Or Gay to VVD. Both moves okay and would probably do it. Jador Broski, I think Pope comes in. Never rated Ramsdale and was gutted we got him last year. Terrible, terrible keeper. Never seen a keeper dive and make himself smaller. I want to say that Jador Broski is a Newcastle fan, for those who don't know. Alex MJ says, no Alisson for Liverpool. Is it? Again, this guy's... Or were you just stuck in a time warp from something like 10 days ago? I'm not aware of anything, mate. So if you're going to put something in the chat claiming something like that, you need to quote a source. Please double check sources. I'm not aware of anything. Nope, I lie. Paul Joyce. Alisson out of Brighton game and will not report for Brazil matches. More on Time Sport. So apologies. That is confirmed. Paul Joyce is a very reliable journalist. So Alisson is out for Liverpool this weekend, confirmed at Brighton. So presumably Mamadashvili playing goal. This is a problem with Alisson. Like, how often does this seem to happen with him? Every season, unfortunately. He does seem to have some injuries, doesn't he? FPL Marshall, yes, dude. Would you play Lafay and hope he plays? We'll take a -4. No bench cover besides go. It's like trying to read something that I can't read, but I know that the importance of the game to Sunderland is very big, and I would think that they'll probably risk him. Mr. MUFC says Cash and Gordon or Chow and Rogers. You'd have to pay me to buy Morgan Rogers at this moment, mate, I think. Not that I'd sell him, by the way. Like, I own him. He's sitting there. I wouldn't buy him at the moment. Bobby says, would you take a hit to bring in Pedro Bowen for Krupi to bench Elliot Anderson? No. Mr. MUFC, just realised you have Chow and Rogers. Lol, best of luck for this week, James. Yeah, but I'd go the other way, mate. Matthew Hall, sorry, says, bring in Chow or João Pedro. I mean, it's got to be the attacking player, innit? I have no clue what you're selling, mate. Snorri Horidison says, hi James, thanks for the fantastic content. Timber and Semenyo to Palmer and Anderson, or Goodmanson and Semenyo to Anderson and Gordon. prefer the Anderson and Gordon route. Luck Valna says all chips left, planning to wildcard 32, bench boost 33, free hit 34. Guys, just a note, if your intention is to wildcard 32, you have to put all your chip strategy. I appreciate it, you're not particularly wrong, but it's obvious that you're now on a 1 week decision. 5 frees left and need to get to 11 players. Haaland to Pedro or Ekiteke. Pedro the preference. Rice to Gordon, fine. 5 free transfers need to get to 11 players. O'Reilly to Chow, Gay to VVD, improvements. I mean, well, of course they are, mate. It's literally impossible that they're not improvements for this week. Andrew says, with Haaland now gone, best time to bring him back? Question, hit the like. Might be 32 if Chelsea have any more defensive injuries. Like, it's going to depend, isn't it? Are they doubling 33 or are they playing in 34? It's going to depend, isn't it? Because if you don't double 33, the answer is going to be 34, isn't it? Andrew Kinsman says, with Haaland, so good I thought I'd ask it twice. A. Mandel says, doubt you'll get this in time, but would you risk 10 with Ballard or use the 5th free transfer? Plan is wildcard 32, so no, I'd risk it. Disco Terry, I was wondering, will the vast majority be on wildcard 32, bench boost 33? Yes. Milan Dog, hey Jay, got 2 frees, wildcard probably in 33. Got 11 for this game week, no subs. Timber the Porro, no. Or play Dallo, confliction with Rayan, take the confliction. Mr. Too Good says, all right, James, who's the best 2 defender to get this game week? 9 million, it says TK. I presume that was meant to be in the bank. Or maybe TK is just thanks. I'm not down with the kids enough these days. You know what I read the 9 million in the bank as? I read it as 9 million overall. I was going to say, yeah, I'd probably go for a differential captain by this stage, mate. Best 2 defenders to get this week. I've named the names. And to be honest, you can run through the bench in dilemmas and you'll find a preference, mate. Blue Knot says, would you rather sell Rice or Semenyo? Unsure of Semenyo mins, even if City play game at 34. Yep, you've answered your own question, mate. FPL aficionado, Bowen or Pedro for next 3 with no wildcard but free hit and bench boost. So, sensible answer there is João Pedro, purely because there's every chance that there won't be many forward options in 33. When we looked at kind of based on the projections for 33, when I did a draft on the last chip strategy podcast, I put together a front 3 of Haaland, João Pedro and Welbeck because alternatives just not great. So I think without the free hit, the more sensible answer in the first instance there is to say to you to go for João Pedro, mate. Shah Sujan, is that the boy or is it a mimicker? Says, if Chuck Norris was in FPL, how much would he be and why would it be 100 million? Because you wouldn't need any other players. How many points do you think he's going to get, mate? This is why you're shit at FPL, mate. He'd be 15 million tops, wouldn't he? Daniel Lund says, hi James, Roths or Verbruggen? If no Liverpool attackers, I'd play Verbruggen. If no Newcastle attackers, I'd go the other way. We think that Roths probably won't make it. That's just on, obviously, the fact that he's not been named in the Dutch squad. Yeah. So, we're not convinced if he's going to play, to be honest. Valentine says, hi James, João Pedro, a Bowen must for this game week. We don't do musts, mate. Bruno Fernandes be close to 1, but he ain't a must for me this week, is he? I'm taking the idiot on. Not that he's an idiot. I love you, Bruno. D Taff says, hi James, I've got Reynildo and something like 0.4 in the bank. I love that. Something like, I don't know. We've only won 3, so not enough to move to anything worthwhile in one move. I've got 11 starters. Have I got 11 starters, do you think? Yes. Pudge says, hey James, your deadline stream is becoming one of my favourites because you give the people what they want. Info backed advice. Quick question. In draft, would you play Iwobi or Ndai? I feel like just ignoring to be an arsehole. Ndai, penalty taker. J&J says, Pedro Porro or cash for 1 week? Someone else. Pedro Porro. Smooth Nightmare. Yeah, I think we've got it now. It's definitely rotating. I can see it rotating. It's there. It's definitely going. The benching dilemmas are going. It's going. predicted line. It's going. It's all going, I think. Oh, blimey, it's 4 minutes to deadline already. Wow, how did that happen? Patrons, tag me if we've got anything. I didn't realise it was that late already. Right, quick fire. J Coop, would you start Dango or Goppy? I don't know who Goppy is. Confuzzold, best Rice replacement, 6.9 or under. I have Rogers, Anderson, Wilson, Bruno Fernandes. Enzo? Is Enzo fitting now? Maybe. FPL Stinky, Cash or Diouf? If I'm free, hit 33. Diouf. Vera Patel, I've Captain Wilson, Vice Captain Shaboshlai. Good luck. Tans Dimra, best free hit team. Check the end of the weekender from yesterday. Pudge says, and why is no one talking about Strout for Leeds? Yeah, he's more expensive than Rodon, but better for bonus Defcon XG over the season. But the answer's in your question, mate. Mad says, Timber to Chow or Haaland to Richie. My smart answer is Chow. Excuse me. Come on, Richie, lad. Jorin says, hold Van der Ven and keep one free transfer or sell. You've kept Van der Ven for all this time, and now there's an half-decent fixture you want to sell. Keep. Bench 1, Boomer Ekateke, Bowen. You're on a wind-up. I'm going to ignore. Last Foreign says, in your top cap list, you have United at home. Do I? We'll survive, won't we? Mucken says, hello, bench 1, Rodon, VVD, Rogers, Rodon. Whiskey, is Wilson essential? No, of course not. White City Roller might seem nuts, but just to be sure, VVD or Hill, VVD. Superman Kunu, punt 1 week Richie, if you must. Norm says, what Spurs midfielder for a differential? None. Fidani says, start Sanchez or Dubravka. Sanchez. Terry Farr, hi mate. Boomo to Gordon. Is that just luxury? It is. I wouldn't do it. FPL aficionado, hi Jones, pick 2 if chasing. Pedro, Bowen. For next 3 game weeks, no wild card, free hit, bench boost, still to play. Next 2, Bowen. Alex says, is Chow Anderson in for my last 2 frees? Worth it. Depends what you're selling. Richard Saunders Irving, no question. Thanks for the free content, James. Best of luck, you too. Appreciate everything you do, says Alex. Thank you, mate. Miran Joanna, thanks for answering, James. Eid Mubarak. NT says, will FPL Raptor be flagged this week? He's got a bloody fucked foot, hasn't he? I say, wish you well, Ross. Thomas Davison Park says, Petrovic or Dubravka? Dubravka, probably. Bollocks, Petrovic. Guy Tandavani, is it worth -4 for Chow? Probably not. Jeffrey says, all right, Gaffer, I have 1 free left. Would you use it? Swap Salah for Gordon Palmer, just play Garner instead? I'd sell him for Gordon. Jordan Proud, Bruno Wilson captain. That's your preference, mate. If you want to go safe, Bruno. If you want to be me, Wilson. No one wants to be me, do they? Coupland Garland, hi James, shall I transfer Mukeli to Anderson to make sure I have 11 players? No. Olaf Swinsky, Cash or Hill? Cash, probably. 1 minute the deadline, guys. Definitely not getting through all these. Shit. Might do. Maybe. Pope over Ramsdale any day, says Last Foreign. Nonam, Captain Wilson if chasing, or Bruno Wilson if you think he scores more points. Caldersten, double up on Fulham defence, get a Newcastle. Captaining Gordon Tarts, says Rio. Yeah, sure, fine. IHM, hi James, play Mukeli over Senesi and hope he plays. Sure. Coached by Connor, hey James, hope you're well. Start Boomer or Cunha. Maybe. L3 RMT, you reckon Boomo starts? Yes, we'll do him for Gordon instead. John Long, start Darlow or Keller. Darlow. Matt Riddy, hi James, do you see Spurs and Forest as a tight battle, open goals at both ends? Chaotic, could be chaotic. Like that stream, sorry for the shit start particularly. I don't know what YouTube is playing at. But we're there, we're done. Deadline is hit. If anyone's got any non-FPL questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and I will cover them off until the team news comes out for Bournemouth against Manchester United. If you came just for the FPL stuff, smash a like, hit the sub button. If you can support the show, we'd love to have you with us. Planet FPL, www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. Like I say that without thinking every week. And as soon as I had to think about it, I didn't know what to do. Content. But before I tell you about content next week, we're taking a little bit of a break from next Friday. So it's a 4-day week next week, and I'm pissing off for the weekend and going to enjoy myself. And then I'm coming back and I'm spending the majority of the Easter week with my son. And then I'm coming back and doing a chip strategy podcast with David on Tuesday, April the 7th. There will be no Planet FPL content between Friday, March 27th and Tuesday, April the 7th. We'll return on Tuesday, April the 7th. Just taking a bit of a break because also in the World Cup year, I ain't going to take much of one before. I will take a 2-week holiday after the World Cup as well. Content coming up next week. So me and Sudra do the Gameweek review podcast on Monday as per usual. Tuesday, content to be confirmed. Wednesday, probably be Ask James. Might even switch that about Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe. Me and David will do the Weekender on Thursday next week. In terms of our Patreon podcast, we'll have Q&A Monday, Tottenham Tuesday. Got a quiz with one of our patrons, James Morrison, on Wednesday. And we'll do our UCL quarterfinal first leg preview next Thursday, myself and David. There'll be additional content at advanced tier as well. Nico's Corner, what the numbers say. Midweek dilemma if I deem it worthwhile, though probably not. If not, it'll be something else instead. And advanced tier Zoom call will be available as always. It's going to be a little bit different this week because we are going to record it and publish it as a podcast for our patrons. Time for that to be confirmed. But it will go out on Thursday, so it will be Thursday early at the latest. But it will probably be Tuesday or Wednesday, I should imagine. Might even be Tuesday. I will confirm that for our patrons over the course of the weekend. If you'd like to support the show, it's www.patreon.com/planetfpl. Basic tier get you no ads. Basic Plus will get you into Slack and access to my plan and give you additional podcasts each week. Intermediate Plus will get you all the podcasts. Advanced tier will get you all the warts and all extra stuff, including Team News Stream, Nico's Corner, all those other little bits. Right, let's do some questions. BT says, non-FPL, your boy, Big Vic, out of hernia surgery. I'm sure Kinski is full of confidence to step in for a month or so. Okay, so I told this tale on the Team News stream earlier today. Vic will play on Sunday. Fairly certain of that. I think the only reason Tottenham have announced anything is because he wasn't in the Italy squad, and a little bit like with Robin Roths, people put 2 and 2 together and know what's going on. Tottenham and Italy have obviously talked, and it's, Italy want him at the World Cup as their understudy to Donnarumma. It's in their benefit to leave him out the squad as well. And obviously Tottenham's situation is fairly catastrophic, so fair play to Vic. He's prioritising Tottenham at the moment. I thank him for that. Pretty sure he'll play on Sunday. Tottenham then don't play for 3 weeks. Tottenham have estimated he'll be back within a month. I told a tale on the Team News stream earlier today of Paul Gascoigne having the same thing. Minor hernia operation 3 weeks before an FA Cup semi-final against Arsenal. He played at Norwich 2.5 weeks later, played 45 to 60 minutes, I think, and then scored one of the finest free kicks this stadium has ever seen, Paul Gascoigne, in the FA Cup semi-final against Arsenal 3 weeks after that hernia operation. So there is a small chance, bearing in mind he's a goalkeeper as well, might be a little bit easier to manage. There is a small chance that Vicario misses no time. Chance. Genuine chance. Is Kinski full of confidence? Possibly not. No, but I tell you what, the crowd will get behind him. They'll be fully supportive of him. They'll be if Kinski plays on Sunday, the crowd will be in full support of him. There'll be no fucking about from that crowd on Sunday. JC says, hi James, for fan tracks, who are players to target? I can't really answer that, my friend, because I don't understand the format of the game. Rio says, best of luck, James, and all who are live, and all of those who are watching on a repeat as well. Nectarios says, who would you like to see as Spurs' next captain? Can I give a sensible answer and an outrageous answer? Outrageous answer, something like Elliot Anderson. Sensible answer is Archie Gray. Just stick it on the boy. Just stick it on him. So you're the future, mate. Just stick it on him. Even if say next season wasn't going to be a regular starter, just give it to him. Sod it. What's the point? I have people talking about Pedro Porro this week. Like Pedro. Pedro's going to go back to Spain at some point. Does that hold the fort short term? Depends what Tottenham buy as well. Tottenham have recognised, and they said this in January themselves, that there's a leadership void in the group. If you said to me that Archie Gray was going to be Tottenham's captain next season, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
the more likely scenario is Romero will go. Obviously, if we go down, then it's shit fire. And Archie Gray probably would end up being Tottenham's captain under that circumstance. If we stay up, Romero will go. Van der Ven is probably 50-50, I'd say. If Van der Ven stays, he'll be captain. Then he'll go the following season. Maybe Archie will be another year down the line. That's most likely scenario. If they both went, then I don't believe Tottenham would say sell Pedro Porro as well. So Pedro probably for a year or two, maybe. There aren't great candidates in that squad. It's a massive problem. I would be more than happy for Archie Gray to be captain. Next up is Andy Mack. Good luck for the game week, mate. You too. Another Hoop says, thanks for the content, man. Really helps. Enjoy your time off. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thing is as well, with that period, and I mean this, guys, seriously, log the fuck out for 2 weeks. Like, I'm going to do Ask James in a week, and I'm intrigued to see how many FPL questions will be, because do you know what? I'm just going to palm most of them off. If they're like strategic, longer term stuff, you know, what do you think about this style of play or something like that in FPL management? Cool. I'll have a 5-10 minute conversation on it if you want. Oh, should I buy this player for 32? I'm on this strategy. Well, you might not be before we even get to the deadline. It's a waste of time. So from a content perspective, I think it's the right time to take a break as well. I'm at a period now where I didn't feel well last weekend. I think a break will do me some good as well. Hit the run in, come back, straight for the chip strategy. Maybe small break for World Cup, but if I do, it'll only be a week or so. And then I'll take a proper break again after the World Cup. Remember, next season doesn't start till August 22nd. So I'll definitely take a 2-week break after the World Cup. But this feels like the right time to take a break. I've got to do it for the sake of the content as well, I think. So thank you. Missed a few questions out there. Johnny says, James, do you have any superstitions either with Spurs, TV or attempting and or FPL? Embarrassing answers encouraged. Thanks, James. Good luck. No, the only thing I would say in terms of FPL, you probably noticed this from the graphic, is I like to set my team up as close to a real life team as possible, i.e. Harry Wilson's on the right. I don't have a left back this week. That annoys me. But I felt that if I had that back four, you'd have to play James Hill at left back. It's truthful, right? That's how I set my team up. Otherwise, superstitions-wise, nah. Tottenham, not so much anymore. But I'd still tried a few things like different routines before games. Nothing's working. So there's certain things like where I enter the stadium and stuff like this, slightly different place I can do it. I've tried it all. Nothing's worked lately. And the reality is whatever I do isn't going to have a blind bit of impact on it, is it? But it just makes ourselves feel better. Whatever way I go in the ground on Sunday, if we win, you can bet your life that I'll repeat it for Brighton at home in game week 33. So I used to always run up the stairs at Paxton Road, particularly in the last season because we hadn't lost. So once I had it in my head, I was like, oh my God, I always run up these stairs. I had to do it every single time. Even if there was like a big crowd in front of me, I'd have to like slow pace run it. Like almost kind of slow jump up. But reality is I'm not going to have any impact on what happens on I can do with my voice a little bit. Nick Tari says, thanks for the hard work. Enjoy your time off. For the World Cup, which rogue picks would you like Tuchel select for the squad? It doesn't matter now. Because what he's picked, we'll probably look at it a little bit on the weekend or next Thursday. There's no one else going in now. I'd be amazed. I wanted Rio and Gamara in the squad. I said that on Monday's game review pod. I said it on our Patreon Q&A 2 weeks ago as well, that I'd take a punt on him on something you could use in either the last 10-15 minutes of a game or in extra time, because I think he's absolutely dynamite. He petrifies people, and he scared the living bejesus out of me on Sunday. And not many players do anymore. What a talent. So I'd have taken him with no intention of him starting a game whatsoever. But I think in a squad of 26, you could afford to take someone like that. And what an experience for his future and stuff. Now, it might be they think, a month away from home, it's a long way. It's not like you can just fly back for a day and stuff. Might have been too much for him. And these sort of things we don't think about football. And it could even be decisions even based on that. But I genuinely think he could have been an absolutely monster weapon for us. Disappoint is wrong. I would have liked to have seen him in there. I realise all the things that come with it, the pressure it puts on him and stuff. He's clearly not even ready to start for Liverpool properly. So to think that he would do it for England's ridiculous. There's no way he would start. He would just be as that impact sub, get him the ball and let him run at the opposition. Brilliant talent. So he's the only one. Trent's the one that's going to make headlines. For me, you would find a place for him. Is what it is. I'm not really fussed about much of the rest, personally. Paul G says, enjoy your time off, James. Had any back and forth with Mr. Southerns ahead of the game on Sunday? No. Obviously, look, we did clash the correspondence the other day. I thought Mark was great as always. But no, I wouldn't do that with any of the correspondents ever. That's their club. Bants before a game and stuff like that. Obviously, like I met David, who's Liverpool, in the pub before the game. If you meet in the pub, a little bit different. Like I met Sean before we played Everton and stuff. If you're in person, fine. Messaging before the game, well, we're going to do this and that to you, or it's not my style. And definitely not after the game unless the opposition's won. If the opposition's won and there's a real reason to say, congrats, you were brilliant, then it's there to be done. But even that, really, just leave it alone. I wouldn't want someone to do it to me. Message me straight after Tottenham played and that, so I wouldn't do it to someone else, mate. Adam says, where would you rank Ray amongst the top goalkeepers in the world right now? His level up since joining Arsenal, particularly in the past 18 months, has been phenomenal. Will he even start for Spain? I'm not questioning that, by the way. I just don't know. I don't know if that's changed. Is Unai Simon still favoured, or is it Raya now? I would rate him very highly, personally. Are we putting him in the category of Courtois, Neuers, things like this? Are we? I think we probably are now, in all seriousness. Yeah. So, I mean, at minimum, top 10. Minimum. Tabletop Journey says, hi, James. Apologies if you have covered this previously. In your opinion, because who knows with our club, do you honestly believe we will lose Vuskovic already on a permanent transfer this summer? Yeah, of course it's possible. It's possible as well. The thing is, you've got to think about this realistically. Let's give you a scenario which is unlikely. Let's say we stay up and Romero and Van der Ven both stay. Vuskovic is going to look at it and like, what's going on here? I ain't. Now, if he comes back to the club, if either of them leave, he's going to play. And I would suggest that for Luka Vuskovic, it would be better to come back and do that and experience the Premier League. And then if he continues at the rate he's going, a move to Barcelona or Bayern Munich would be inevitable anyway. Whereas he could go there, maybe not play, get a bit lost, get sent out on loan somewhere. Yeah. So, look, I want him to play for Tottenham next year. Ultimately, as well, if we go down, does he want to play in the Championship? And Tottenham have got to think about the money they can get, and it'll be very sizable. You have to make a judgment call as well. If you get 40 to 50, this is generally the numbers people are talking about in the summer for a player that hasn't even played for you. I know, how many players have Tottenham sold for that sort of valuation? It's not big. It's a good trade, isn't it? It's a worst case scenario. Oh, blimey. We made, 40 million on this fella. So, look, I hope he'll be back. I think it would be the right thing for everybody connected to move Christian Romero on in the summer, and he's the ready-made replacement. He's there. Darren Milling says, Archie Gray is underrated for a teenager to have the football intelligence to play in multiple positions with such ease is phenomenal, don't you think? I think I didn't speak about him too much on the weekend because I spoke about him a lot on Tottenham on Patreon yesterday. But that was his best performance for Tottenham on Wednesday night. He's beginning to show initiative, personal individual ability, and even glimpses of leadership, as mentioned earlier. Until very recently, I didn't think that he'd ever show anything that would make him strong enough to play as a central midfielder unless he was going to be an off-the-ball runner, a wide 8 in a 4-3-3, for example. But what I've seen over the last few games has been really, really encouraging. Yeah, just caution though, because what's Rico Lewis done with his season? And Rico Lewis played how many different positions for Man City? Probably better technically, maybe, than Archie Gray. It's almost like it's disappeared out of our thinking a little bit, hasn't he? All of a sudden. You have to be careful with these players and that. But what Archie's gone through at Tottenham as well, this will all be a great experience for him. The way he coped, to be honest, the way he coped at centre-back when he had to play there last year, my viewpoint was that he may end up becoming a centre-back. And I wouldn't be surprised in the longer term if that maybe still happens. A little bit kind of a la Eric Dyer, maybe. But Archie in midfield was really good Wednesday night. Really impressed. Really happy with him. Be disappointed if he didn't keep playing moving forward now. So, yeah, very pleased. Very pleased. And if he proves to end up being a world-class player for us, trust me, no one will be happy about it than me. P. Macker says, medical science improved since Gaza had his op. Well, exactly that as well. And do you think Gaza went on like a strict diet for 3 weeks while he weren't playing? No, because let me tell you, about 10 days into that operation, we played a game at home with Southampton. You'll find this clip on YouTube of him sitting in the dugout. He wasn't a named substitute, sitting in the dugout, smashing his face with popcorn. I kid you not. That's honestly true. Just go and search for it. Paul Gascoigne popcorn. Game against Southampton, either the week before or 2 weeks before that game with Arsenal, and it was whilst he'd had that hernia operation. So he made it back eating popcorn. Elron Cupboard says, treating yourself to a takeaway this weekend. I'm on me Jack Jones tomorrow. Some might do. But I might just eat out instead. Oh, you loner. Not quite that. I'll take my boy swimming, and then he and his mum are going to her dad's. And so I might be out and just eat somewhere on my way home. No one loves me enough to go for dinner for me. That's the joke, by the way. Hobbly Jobbly. Can you tell memories of Sheringham Klinsmann inspired win at Anfield in Cup 95? Enjoy well turned off. It's Easter. I will, but before I do, obviously team news is in, so I will cover it. I'm not expecting many surprises. So Bournemouth, Petrovic, Jimenez, Hill, Senesi, Troffer, Christie Scott, Rayan, Adley, Tavernier, Evan Nilsson. Manchester United, Lamans, Dallo, Yoro, Maguire, Shaw, Casemiro, Mino, Diallo, Fernandez, Cunha, Boomer. Those are your lineups. Yeah, I was there. I was there as 11 years old, I'd have been. And it was a very long time before I had an away game better than that. Very long time. Pretty much up till 2019 Champions League run. So 8,000 of us on the Anfield Road end. Liverpool were a good side, not as strong as they are now, but still had brilliant attacking players. Vulnerabilities defensively. It was similar to us. We didn't really go to places like that and win, though. They went in front. Fowler scored. Sheringham equalised just for half time. Brilliant hold up and layoff from Klinsmann. Sheringham bent it in off the inside of the post. Brilliant goal. And then Teddy flicked Jurgen in for the winner in front of the cop with 2 minutes to go. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Some win that. Somewhere. That's what will be forever one of my favourite away days, that, yeah. Truthfully, it took a very long time to have anything that matched it. Yeah, I'll tell you about this one time I went to Amsterdam. Eccles Cake says, what would be your Tottenham predicted 11 in game week 1 in the Championship? Okay. I'll do it for shits and giggles. I don't mind. Caveats is in that's predicting transfers, right? And I'm sure Tottenham would get a lot of money incoming from player sales, genuinely, and there would obviously be some reinvestment. But okay, let's do this for shits and giggles. Kinski in goal, James Rosewell right back, Kevin Danso and Janai Byfield at centre back, Ben Davis renewed on an additional 1-year contract left back, or Sousa. Midfield, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same. Archie Gray, perhaps Sarr. I find it difficult to imagine we'd keep Sarr, Gray and Bergvall. So I'll tell you what, let's say whichever one of those three stays, plus either Callum Olasese or Alfie Devine, who's on loan at Preston. James Maddison will stay. Very convinced about that if we went down, by the way. I think the only thing that would maybe change that is obviously Coventry look like they're going to go up. If Coventry offered him a deal, that's his club. Would he be tempted? But I think James Maddison, I just have this belief in him that he'd want to stay after the year that he's had. Left wing, Mikey Moore. Right wing is kind of in a TBC place at the moment. Up front, Will Lancashire. There you go. We won't be far from that anyway. That's kids. That's him piss title. But listen, we'd add to it, wouldn't we? Honestly. We get 400 million. Listen, we go down. We're going to get nearly 200 million just from 3 centre-backs. Romero, Van der Ven, and Vuskovic. That's not mental. We're talking about Vuskovic, 40, 50 already. Let's say Van der Ven's, 50, 60? Romero, Tottenham want 80. They won't get that if they go down. Let's call it 60. Right. Still talking 160, 170, just from 3 centre-backs. Right, Porro's gone. What's Porro worth? 30 to 40 if we go down. Udogie goes. Jed Spence, England International. Even just the defence. Vicario goes. Another 15 million. All adds up. We think Kudus going to go for... Tottenham bought Kudus for 60 million. Was he going for 20? No. Still going 40 to 50, isn't he? What would Richie, call it 30. Solanke, 40 or so. We paid 60 for him. What would Archie be worth? We paid 40 million for him. Tottenham ain't selling him for less than that. So no, you're staying. So honestly, blink and Tottenham are getting 400 million on transfers. They bought 10 players for 150 or something that was right for the championship level and stuff. So, but there's a lot of kids there. Luca Williams Barnett, I didn't name, is another one. Obviously, you'd hope being and around it next year. Other boys back on loan. Dane Scarlett could come back and be a useful option for us in the championship, for example. Next up is Sam McGreevy. Hi, James. What do you think England's World Cup starting 11 will be, and who do you think has the best chance to win the World Cup? Spain for the second bit. Gordon Banks. No. Who's our goalie? Jordan Pickford, Reece James, Ezri Konsa, Mark Gay, Lewis Hall, or Livramento, or O'Reilly, any of them. Anderson, Rice, Rogers, Saka, Kane, Gordon. I've been asked this before, and other than left back, I think it's the same answer I gave before. But I'll also repeat this for you. The 11 that starts isn't as important as the 11 that finishes. And England ain't going to play the same team for 8 fucking games if they go all the way, right? There'll be a lot of changes. Matt Stewart says, hi, James. If you could pick a Tottenham season where you went to every game home and away, which season would you pick? Goodbye to the lane, mate. 2016-17. That would still be the one, yeah. Just on the home games alone. Just on that alone. That's the best Tottenham team I've seen. 86 points. 17 home league wins. 2 draws. Or 4 additional cup games. Played European games at Wembley. Didn't go deep. Cup didn't go deep either. Oh yeah, to be honest, FA Cup semi-final. Yeah. Yeah, 16-17, I think. Fairly comfortable that. Just trying to think. I did go to cup games at Fulham away, 5th round and stuff. Yeah, relived that season. Pure happiness, mate. And it February to May of that period, we just felt like we were going to annihilate teams. Literally going to games, asking how many will it be today. So confident in what they were going to do. And I remember playing Watford and Bournemouth at home in consecutive weekends in April, and we beat them both 4-0. It's like a breeze. Didn't get out of second gear. Blitzed them. And they were very capable of more, but knew how to manage themselves at that point. It was a good team. So yeah, 16-17, of which I kept a diary of it all, daily, through the whole season. And it's a 10-part podcast audiobook called Goodbye to the Lane, which is only available on Patreon. It's in the archives. If you want to support the show for 1 month at Intermediate Plus tier, you will have access to Goodbye to the Lane. Just go into the archive search bar and just type Goodbye, and you will find all 10 episodes right there. The episodes are about 45-50 minute average. It's one audio, it's one podcast basically for each month. It's me reading back my own diary and stuff. It's the best bit of content I've ever produced, in my opinion. So support the fucking show at patreon.com/planetfpl. And yes, it's 10-year anniversary this summer. And Poch might be back just in time for it as well. Oh God, there's a lot of questions here, but right. Let's see who's last. Matt Ridley, you will be the last one, mate. Matt Ridley at 6:55. You'll be the last one. Sorry, I've lost my place. DTAF, sorry. Thanks for the stream, James. Any thoughts on the championship promotion race? Still looks hard to call with 8 games to go. Yeah, it looks like Coventry will do it. Got a challenging game at Swansea, I think, this weekend. And Swansea, a much better side at home than away. I know that because I was looking for my ticker, which is also available on James Planner on Slack. Yes, even championship ticker. The rest is up for grabs. Yeah, I still believe Ipswich will get over the line via one route or another, but the rest of it's up for grabs. Southampton have suddenly put a little bit of a run together, haven't they? Got themselves in contention. That's always dangerous when you see someone in the championship coming over your shoulder and like the timing the run right. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Southampton came back as well. But there's a number of teams in there. We've got a decent chance. Hull, Wrexham, Millwall obviously doing really well. It's wide open. Difficult to call. Like I said, my instinct is Ipswich, I think, will still do it. Coventry should go up from here. I watched the game against Middlesbrough a couple of weeks ago. Good game now. Enjoyed it. Matt Seward. Oh, I've done that one. Anthony Lowry. Hi, James. Do you think many English clubs get knocked out of Europe due to the intensity of the league? It just feels like there is no break for Premier League clubs, and other European clubs can focus more on Europe. So, before the last 16 stage happened, I think we might have had this discussion on one of our UCL fantasy pods, maybe playoff second legs. It was either before the playoff second legs or the last 16 first legs. And I raised the point with David that I'd heard someone else suggest was that the latter stages of the Champions League was so tough for the English clubs, pretty much on the essence of what you've just said. You know, things like PSG can just postpone their game till whenever, and even if they don't, they'll play a second string team and trust their ability to still win the football match, right? This league is unforgiving. Now, if you have circumstances like, I don't know, let's say City lose the next couple of games to Chelsea and Arsenal, maybe Arsenal can afford to do that around the point that, say, they're semi-finals or something like that. Would obviously massively help them. But yeah, I think it's a fair point. The intensity of the league, the effort through the season, you can't take your eyes off the ball against anybody, certainly from a physicality nature. So yeah, I think it's very fair point. But what I would add, we didn't discuss it on the weekend, and those English clubs, this, that, and the other. The English clubs have been eliminated by Real Madrid, Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain, and Atletico Madrid. Oh, only Atletico. Yeah, but we're Tottenham are in the Premier League, right? Like, of the 4 teams that went out, only City would have been projected to go through before. It's not that deep. It's not a major problem. How about the fact we had like 5 finishing the top 8 in the first instance, right? Like, bloody hell. Yak Kran says, how would you describe your love for Spurs, and has Harry gone to any games for you? No, Harry's not ready to go to games yet. It's a little bit of interest. I've started telling him the score and stuff, which I think is good lessons for him to learn losing, because let's be honest, he'll have to get used to it when he. So he goes, oh. And when I got home the other night, it's quite funny actually. I don't mind telling this. I got home quite quick, but it was about 10:30. And the little shit was still awake, weren't he? She's trying to get him to sleep. And once he obviously hears Daddy come through the door, that's it, isn't it? It's worse. But he went to sleep quite quick afterwards. But anyway, I come and I told him that we'd won. He went, yeah! He gave out a proper. I was like, oh, good. Well done. And then that wife of mine said, yeah, but not really. And I was like, oi, can you not? She wasn't wrong. But I was like, can you not do that, please? Seriously. So we have little things where he sat with me and he watched bits of Extra Time Roma Bologna last night, but I kind of forced him to and he fell asleep with me. So he hasn't got huge interest in it at the moment. He'd be a long way from being able to be in that setting because of the loudness of the stadium and the crowd and stuff like that. And obviously even just sitting there for 90 minutes would be too tough for him. So I did take him to a game last summer. I took him to see Spurs under 21s at Enfield Town near us in pre-season. He lasted about 15 minutes. That was enough. I wasn't going to force him to do any more. So I've tried. We'll try again, but only when he's ready. Next up is Eccles Cake says, do you think the introduction of DEFCON will change centre-back and central defensive midfield prices next season? No, I think it'd largely be the same. But, look, obviously, Gabriel probably is going to start as like 7 million next year, for example. It's not going to be the same price, right? You just see that from the ownership. It's justifiable and stuff. James Tarkowski being 5.5 this year. I think it's about right. It's not, second or third highest scoring defender or something. It's not sitting all our teams, is it? So, no, I think it's just an adjustment based on individual circumstance. Alex says, do you sometimes start chance at Spurs or do you usually follow? I tell you what I do when I'm at home, because I sit on the side, East Upper, is I can hear the murmurings from the south and I feel like they need a push. So I'll hear the murmuring of the chant and I'll do like a line really loud. And a lot around me will then, oh, okay, he's going around the ground. Away from home, I'll try and start stuff if I can. The issue is obviously everyone's, quite often, particularly away from home, everyone's trying to do it and stuff. But I'll happy to do it. If I feel like it's needed, particularly if they're struggling, if I feel the need to do it, I'll happily do it. Yeah. Yash Khan says, did you hear that Henri said about Michael on CBS last Wednesday? Such a sweet message. Yeah, I don't often retweet stuff from media, if you will. But I retweeted all of that video yesterday, the 7-minute video. I genuinely think it's brilliant. It was really nice. And you have to remember, I hated him. But I do admire the human. I hate him because the shirt he wore, just for clarity. I admire the human and very much respect the pundit in Thierry Henry. And that was nice, actually. And it obviously, when it started, like, where's this going? And it obviously got quite personal. And Micah did really well in terms of his openness and his honesty and stuff. And I liked the bit when he said, oh, what did you end up doing? And he said, oh, to be honest, I drunk a lot. And Kate tried to jump in, didn't she? And was like, is it getting a bit deep? And Henri kind of stopped and was like, no, let him go. It's important we tell this story. I just thought it just seemed natural and well done. And they were both comfortable in their own skin to have that conversation in front of others. It's so difficult to get two men to have an open, honest conversation like that at the best of times anyway. They've obviously gone and done it. And they brought that conversation publicly and stuff. I thought it was really well done. It was nice. Henri obviously had probably planned to do it. It didn't feel staged or anything. It felt like a normal conversation and just the cameras happened to be on and stuff. I thought it was really well done. Anurag Mishra said that, to be honest, with them as well on CBS, they do get the tone right a lot. Fair game to them. Hi, James. Can you share how much do you spend for every game, home and away? Good luck for Gameweek 31, the Forest game. Depends, doesn't it? You take an example like Sunderland. That's going to cost me about 200 quid. Because we're probably going to go up the night before. So there is part choice on that. Train on the day is ridiculous. 100 quid of return. Just train. Ticket 30 quid. Call it hotel, say 50. 180. Obviously you're up there. You'll feed yourself. So it becomes an expensive game. Now, listen, there'll be others who go to the Emirates. It's tenner. Right? So it's not like that for every game. I mean, in terms of the transportation cost to myself and stuff like that. So my season ticket is 1375, I think. It's just the league games. call average cost of an additional game 50. I say average cost because you'll have things like Villa at home being £30 in the cup. Doncaster at home was £30, and they got that wrong. Should have been cheaper. So you factor in that in with Dortmund was like 80 or something, I think. I'm keeping the track of it this year because obviously I'm doing every game. So thousands. Let me just say thousands. But it's my money, it's my choice, right? I'm not moaning about it. I do have a choice. I have a choice not to pay it. Particularly for the away games. I actually no, I watch it on the telly. KC Wolf says, hi James, if Spurs get relegated, which potential sale would you be sad to see go? For my team, it would be Joe Gomez. Sorry, not Joel Gomez. You've written Joel Gomez. Joel Gomez, isn't it? Sorry. Unless there is a Joel Gomez. I mean, you do have a lot of Gomez's. Who would it be most sad? I don't think there'd be anyone. I don't think anyone. I could have little things where I'd think I'd like Archie to stay. But if someone come in with a bid and presumably he'd want to go, etc. Cool. There isn't a single player at that football club that I would be that sad if they went at this moment. Now, ask me the same question in 2 years, I might be like, I love Archie, he's one of my favourite players, whatever. He could develop to that sort of thing. Maybe a Janai Byfield or maybe Vuskovic, maybe these sort of players become it. But of the players that, let's say the Europa League winners, let's even just use that group, I wouldn't be sad if any of them went. None. Now, I'm reluctant to say that at the moment because we're kind of all together and we need to get through this period together, and they've got an opportunity to win some hearts back where maybe even if you ask me that question in 2 months, I'll give you a different answer. But right now, that squad needs a nuke putting through it in that transfer window, or it won't be much different next year. I mean that. If the same squad plays next year, it ain't going to be a lot different. Oh, they're so good. Nah, they ain't. So there's not many. It would be more younger players, let me say, Katie. John Nagy. John, DM. If you're going to Sunderland, can you DM me, please, mate? I've got a proposal for you. It's about an hotel. John Nagy says, evening, James. How do you think, if anyone wants a hotel in Newcastle the night before we play Sunderland, please let me know. Evening, James. How do you think Leeds, Forest and West Ham would have done if they played Spurs opponents in Champions League this season? Not as well as us. They wouldn't have. It's experience of playing in European football. Truth. Forest have done well in Europa this year. But it's truth. And it's also the squad is used to playing the 2 games a week. West Ham squad is... Imagine putting West Ham's injury list with ours. Imagine you took out the kind of like-for-like players from West Ham's squad that are unavailable from ours at the moment. Fucking hell, mate. And I think probably Leeds as well. If you took out the likes for likes of the players we've had absent for the last 3 months, those 2 clubs would massively struggle not to finish bottom. Forest, I think squad depth is actually a bit stronger than people realise. So they wouldn't have done as well as us, mate. Manami says, hi James, do you listen to any Spurs podcasts of View from the Lane? Very occasionally the View from the Lane. I've not listened to a long time, and bless him, I heard the news about Danny Kelly. He's obviously got cancer and he's taking a break and stuff. Wish him well. Obviously used to listen to the Fighting Cock religiously. Long time since I listened to the Extra Inch. I've listened to the Last Word on Spurs a couple of times when Paul O'Keefe's been on now. To be honest, with most of it, like the Fighting Cock, I would listen to every week if I had more time. I don't. And A View from the Lane, I would listen to every week if I had more time. Also, at the moment, there is no will to listen to other people talk about Tottenham when it's this shit. When it's positivity and stuff, and people want to share their memories and how they feel and stuff, more in. I don't need to be miserable and hear other people being miserable. It's no good. So those pods I'd mentioned, but the honest reality, I don't have the time. So it's the same with the FPL content, the space out there. There's so many good creators. I don't have the time to listen to others, unfortunately. David too. I will if I can, but it'd be like, it might be sitting here. I'm doing some work on my planner, and I've got something on in the background. But even then, not really. No. David Tillstone says, I was lucky enough to see Gazza play 3 times, twice for England and once for Everton when we Stoke drew them in the FA Cup. Amazing player. You definitely didn't see the best of him at Everton. NS and Gani says, hello, mate. Good luck this week. Has Mikey Moore left your lot? My sister taught him in primary school, mentions him often. He's on loan at Rangers. And there's every chance he'll come back and be part of the squad next year. I mean, if we got relegated, he'll be in the team next year. No doubt. Arkine Blom says, hi, James and chat. Good luck this week. What do we think about Chelsea assets going forward now that they have everything to play for in the Prem? Welcome to the chat. I don't care. I'm really sorry. I don't want anyone to ask me an FPL question for 2 weeks now. Chelsea assets, see how they look for 33 once they've beat Port Vale. If they beat Port Vale. Avoid defensively. Matt Ridley says, hi James, are taking any of our Wolves players this summer? Spurs. Are Spurs taking any Wolves players? I wouldn't have thought so. We think Joe Gomez is going to Napoli, don't we? I think I've heard that several times as something that's possible. I really like Andre, but I don't think it's right for what we need at the moment. But I think he'd get a move somewhere. Mane will obviously get picked up by someone. I think Rodrigo Gomez has development possibilities. I think the season might finish. You might find there's quite a bit of interest in Ladislav Krejci, actually. He looks better every time I see him, that lad. But probably not, no. I'd definitely take Joe Gomez, by the way. If he was able to get him, I'd take him. R1 says, hi James, hypothetically, as objectively as possible, which would be bigger if it happened this season? Spurs getting relegated or Wrexham getting promoted? Spurs getting relegated, mate. Is Wrexham getting promoted any bigger than what Luton Town achieved? Nah, mate. No. You are back to back. Yeah, sure. I'm not discrediting it in any way, but Luton did it without the money as well. FPL Celso George says, hi James, what's your favourite Portuguese player, past or present? Helder Postiga. No, I'm just trying to fit Portuguese players played for Tottenham. We've had a few, including one of the worst players I've ever seen play for Tottenham, Jedson Fernandez. I don't think we had many. Just scanning my brain. No, I don't think we've had many. So, I mean, look, Ronaldo goated, obviously, except for one person. But loved Figo. What a player. What a player Luis Figo was. But if you're saying favourite Portuguese player, past or present, I would probably say Figo. The Barcelona Figo, before we had a pig's head thrown at him. Patrick Will says, what are your thoughts on Harvey Vale declaring for Ireland being called up for the senior squad for their playoff games? Potential coup, looks to be a talented player. I saw Harvey Vale play for the England under-19 team when they won the Euros a few years back, which Kani Chukwuemeka starred in. And he kind of got shoved out to the left, and I was aware at the time that wasn't really his position. He'd had quite a bit of comparisons, young player, similar position to Mason Mount coming through. My understanding from what I've heard from people, and I ain't seen him play since then, mate, is that he hasn't kicked on the way that people had expected or hoped. Now, I haven't seen him, so that's only what I've heard. For me to comment, probably a bit unjust. So is it a coup for Ireland? I don't know. But it may tell you something that he's still quite young and has already given up on that England route. Reality. Anna Ratsbriar says, thoughts on Neymar versus Rooney debate? Depends. think probably Neymar. I've not heard this debate, by the way. Probably Neymar. Peak Neymar, probably a little bit better than peak Rooney. Don't underestimate how good Wayne Rooney was when he was 18, 19. It's disgusting. Disgusting how good he was at that age. Yeah, probably Neymar was much closer to winning Ballon d'Ors, I would say, than Wayne Rooney. There you go. Apex Lion says, can't wait to press the wildcard button. Hurry up, update. I suggest you wait for 2 weeks, mate, or you've not been listening. But I wish you luck if you decide to do it, mate. But if it goes wrong, don't come back to me. And on that bombshell, play it your way, everyone. Please, if you are wildcarding, my advice is to wait until the FA Cup games are gone. Just log out. Forget about it. What are you going to overthink it for 2 weeks? It's no point. Have a great weekend. Love you lots. Smash a like. Hit the sub button. Hope your arrows are green. So you'll be back with me for the Game Review pod on Monday. Thanks, everyone. Ciao for now.